pause this August on the 13th. As a matter of fact, on the 13th of August 2026, we'll be going to the polls to choose our president, members of parliament, councillors, and so on and so forth. So we need to know, and this is the question you have been posing: is the opposition ready for the polls? And to answer this question, I'm privileged to be hosting the president for EFF, Economic Freedom Fighters, that is President KASONDE MWENDA. Happy New Year, Mr. President, and welcome to State of the Nation.
Happy New Year. It's always an honor to be on KBN, and I'm happy that finally this year, in January, we have this opportunity to talk to you and the great people of Zambia.
Wonderful. Before we delve into this particular question, I know you've been going around the country to show us pictures of things that I've seen you in Mekambo, I've seen you on a road leading to DRC. I don't know where else you have gone. I would like for you, for starters, to give a picture of where you have been in the last part of this year going to 2026, and what did you find? What are your impressions of those findings, just so that we can pick that up as a light moment for us to start from before we go into this heavy question of whether or not you are ready.
Thank you. You know, Zambia is a marvel. We are just coming from Mporokoso. It's such a beautiful place. We went as far as seeing the Mbachi from Mporokoso there. You know, we passed through on our way there. We passed through Serenje here. We passed Mukushi. Yes. We saw that Mukushi Serenje road. It's a hell run. We went to Mpika. We passed across Mpika. We went to Chinsari. We went all that far, actually. We went that route.
Right.
We saw the road. If you look at what is happening, that's an economic road that leads all the way to Nakonde. We did not reach Nakonde, but we were on that same road. Yes. We saw what's happening. Actually, what's happening is that when trucks are coming, you need to give each other way by all of you leaving the road, because the road is not enough. We put anymore.
Wow.
You know, that's how much we have not paid attention to some of these resources.
Yeah.
In fact, so along the way there,
okay,
you get a chance to buy really much.
Yes.
Yeah, we also now went this other way. We went all the way to Mporokoso, you know.
So you
passed through Kasama. Yes, we toured the whole northern province.
So your biggest discovery is the state of the road, not passable. Is that the biggest disappointment that you found on the ground?
No, actually, those are not the biggest. But the biggest challenge that I found there is that we have so much, but we live on so little. Other people that come from far places who come to Zambia take advantage. Let me give an example. We found there people who have come there, they have gone there to dig gold. There is gold there. But when you see how people are living in squalor. Yeah. So the main thing that moved us is how we have failed as a country to turn around our economic potential into real economic benefits.
Right. For our people.
We live off begging. Right today I heard, actually today, it's breaking news, so some people, they were insulting, you know, when we issued that statement showing that actually we have gone back to the vomit of IMF. We have gone back to IMF. At first, we were almost misled. We were almost even celebrating that the government has actually weaned its off. It has abandoned the IMF because they had asked for an extension.
Right.
This whole period they had been in power,
yes,
they were on an IMF program. Meaning, whatever kind of and the UPND promised, that's not what they were doing. Okay. They were doing what IMF was instructing them to do. Zambia voted for an economist. We wanted to see him show us what he learned at UNZA. No, we had been on an IF program, but if about Chola boy. So now, we were hopeful now. Now that they are asking for 2026. That maybe now got a plan. Alas, just when we thought now they are going, and actually that's how they peddled it. But we saw around 14 hours, breaking news came from Reuters, not even from Bloomberg, that actually they had stopped the previous program so that they do not have an extension, so that they can have a full run of the program. People should read, they can go and Google, it's now public information. So they have asked for more debt to cover if they are voted to cover between 2021 and 2031, it will be IMF. Meaning the austerity measures will apply, their load shedding scheme will apply, meaning that the tax holidays, like what they have given, the SI 47, that they have put on our copper concentrates, that they need to go tax-free, those things will continue. This suffering that we saw in the first 5 years of UPND, if we give them a chance, we will see even worse coming because they have gone back to IMF.
Right.
At the backdrop of a copper that is selling, there is money coming out of copper right now. And people are thinking probably we are stepping out from IMF to concentrate on making money. Alas, not copper at that.
Well, the UPND will kind of argue with you and say their economic trajectory on which they've put the nation is paying the dividends, as you could see. One of the indicators is the appreciation of the kwacha, trading at 19, selling at 20. It hasn't been in that range for a long time. So while you are demonizing them in terms of perhaps not getting value out of the mines, they'll tell you that look at the performance of the kwacha.
Is that a performance to write home about? For me, I don't think so. And that because I don't have a chicken memory. I don't forget easily. And every Zambian shouldn't forget. The UPND took over power when the dollar was to 17 kwacha to $1. 17. So now you move it from 17, you drop it to 19. Or you raise it to 19. We should clap. That's having short memory. In poetry, they say chicken memory. So they haven't done anything worth the reckon. Hakainde promised us 15 kwacha. He promised us even 5 kwacha to $1. We haven't forgotten. Now today we should be clapping for mediocrity. We don't have chicken memory. We can still remember that they took over this government at 17 kwacha to $1. 19. So what is there to write home about? 2, there is no economic plan that the UPND has ever to put us on a trajectory. UPND has not put us on any plan. They don't have a plan. They rely on a plan prepared by the IMF, unless today they are telling us Akainde is the IMF. That's why I was trying to hone it and say, no, we are also part of IMF. No. IMF does not stay at State House. It stays its headquarters in Washington, D.C. That's why IMF is. It's a program. So you can't take IMF program and you call it your program. No. It's an IMF program where you borrow money and they give you conditions for them to recoup their money. You can't call IMF program your program. It's a plan.
In 7 months, we'll be going to the elections.
Sure.
And the Zambian people will evaluate the performance of the UPND through their vote. What do you think are going to be some of the issues based on which voters are going to cast their vote and decide whether or not to retain the UPND in power for another 5 years? What are some of the factors do you think are going to inform the choices that Zambian people make in the next 7 months?
It's a beautiful question because it's a question that you can answer, I can also answer. We are all voters. Even me, I'm a voter. I also have a vote. So what we are saying is that number one, that Zambians will look out for is their livelihood. How do they want to live the next 5 years? And how have they lived the previous 5 years? Ushapanga ndanga mwaledi ya 3 meals before ba UPND tabeshile. Apabaisa mudiama meals yanga. Is this what you want to continue or you want to change? How is the cost of living? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you earn if what it takes you to live is even more. So the cost of living will be the determining factor in this coming year. And as a matter of fact, this is a place where the UPND has done a lot of talking and nothing to write home about.
Right. I want to pick your mind. Also, we have a whole hour, to discuss your readiness as opposition. But before we talk about your readiness, you are ready for what? What is motivating you? You have a blueprint that will be totally different from the trajectory we are on, right now. What is motivating your campaign strategy as opposition?
We've been asking for a while, and I'm so happy. If Zambians never tried Hakainde Hichilema, some of us would have never had a voice. because he promised that he had a plan. Some of us have been highlighting and showing Zambians because he was an impediment standing. They were promising heaven on earth. What our plan now can now take off because they have tried those stories and people now know it doesn't work. You can't give a country to IMF and then you sit back, you start looking after your property, your animals and your what, and you expect IMF to carry your country anywhere. As economic freedom fighters,
yes,
we have a plan. And our plan is anchored, and we echo it each and every day, on maximization of the potential in our mineral wealth and our natural resources, leading to industrialization.
Right.
That's where we anchor it.
Right.
We can't give our minerals to foreigners, but they send the cow fela fionse fideya. If we're not to tax holidays, SI 47 is reckoning today, showing us how reckless we are. As EFF, when we come this August, number one thing we'll do, we'll make sure that we cut off those tax weavers and let the money come back to Zambians. Number two, we'll work on ownership. As long as we don't own this mineral wealth, kopa ya KCM TS nga yaku QFM FQM TS nga mwaya kusolwezi twali kusolwezi mabanga tuwalila. If you go to Kalumbila tuwalila. Even the road that leads to the mine, which is one of the biggest in Africa, kwatikwa Linkondo. If you see how people are living in Solwezi right now, they live in a poverty-stricken environment, and yet they are sleeping on money. People have created, in fact, Gamawaka and Sanshi got mine. What will happen is, badi panga kwatika insulation, kwatika village so. Ngawayamkati, you feel like kwatu ile ku UK. Mwadibana ma facilities, mwadibana mpombo, there are antelopes inside there. Not for eating, my brother, for watching. That's how people inside there. But go around, outside there, people are suffering. They are dying of poverty. We want to open it up. The way they are living, Muka and Sanshi, expatriates, that's why that's how we want everybody to live. That can only happen if the local people also have a stake. The community that lives in a mining area should have a stake in the mines. This is what we want to do.
I'll come back to your plan and to your association and your strategies and all of that. I need to ask you to lend your voice to one of the things that has happened in the recent past. The summoning of the Archbishop. I mean, we can't have this interview with. This is a big. It's been a big story over the last few days in Zambia and internationally. The summoning of the Archbishop of Lusaka Diocese, Archbishop Dr. Alik Banda. The state has said there is an irregularity here in the manner that he accessed that property. He says it was a gift to me, and I'd like to hear what your sentiments are over this, because people from different sectors of society, they hold a different view and opinion over this matter. And as EFF, what is your view over this fight against corruption and the anti-money laundering session that the Archbishop had? In fact, he was warned and cautioned.
It's a travesty. How you do something speaks so much of what you really mean. How you greet people. Even a greeting can be an insult, depending on how you phrase it. No. You are greeting, a good thing. So there is some decorum. There is a way you need to approach some things, even if you have got questions. That's the Archbishop. I'm not saying now we should worship him. No. If you have abantu should just behave. Let me give an example, and I'll give an example to myself. I'm not a lord. I'm not a big whatever. But do you know that me, at my level as EFF president, the police does not issue call-outs? To me. No, they don't. Maybe Zambians don't know. They don't issue. I go to force quarters there quite often. They invite me there. Do you know what they do? They call me. Mr. Mwenda, we have some questions to ask you. Could you please come here? Please make sure you don't alarm the country. Come alone. Let us talk. There are some questions we have. They ask me. I go there. There was this time we produced an article on, it was on some GMO products that were government actually was allowing importation, and they suspected the statement came from me. They called me. I went to force quota. They did not issue a call out. They can issue a call out if they wanted. But because of the respect they have, because they don't want to alarm, they don't want to create acrimony, they respect me, and that's how I call. If every time they would issue a call out, you know, it will paint me wrongly. So what I'm saying is that what they did to the bishop was an issue of just mishandling something they should have really handled properly. So once you open it like that, then you already show your stance that you have not come in a good way. They say you comes to equity must come with clean hands. So if you don't approach a matter, especially at the level of governance like where our government is right now, and the background that they have with Bishop right now, over the issue of our departed Republican President Edgar Chagolungu, may so rest in peace. We have seen the collision which had happened. And then with such kind of a backdrop, you just go issue a call out. And the call out, you already know that in the court of public opinion, when you issue such a call out, you should want to msevanya. No tuba chinomba situambo kula mutuka. Hey, Hilux. Hello. Today I had an opportunity, actually last night I had an opportunity to evaluate this issue, the story. That guy they were saying, my brother from Zedare at Mulenga, Kaunda something, the one who bears the details of the car. We also saw an alarmist article come from the news diggers. No, what? Not easy. What that gentleman has done, he has actually confessed to say the boss, his boss, asked for his NRC. And he gave him, and they went and purchased that. It's not me who gave a gift. It doesn't work like that. If today I come and get your NRC and go and transact with it, you can't come and say you're not the one that transacted. The law does not. That's why NRC is for you.
So you say there is consent there?
Definitely. He gave consent, and if he was aggrieved, why didn't he go to court? Why didn't he sue his boss? Why haven't they called his boss? Or even if he called, how does that now reach a third party? A third party like a bishop, how? So if today I come to you, I get some money. How I get money? Then now to la church. Kuya ikatamba pastor bandi. And they don't ask how I got money from you. How should the pastor, how should the reverend, how should the papa suffer on how he received the money that I offered that church? Many people offering. Do people go to investigate to say, Ishimpia ba father mupokere, ba pastor mupokere, tamushiba member wenu alibire. How does that even concern the man of God? How does that even concern him? So what they were doing is they were deliberately creating an impression as if the bishop is the one who went to Zedarae. Did mean Garato. You can even see that these people don't mean well. They know they don't have a case. I'm telling you, this case can't see day of light. I'm speaking as a legal counsel. There's nothing they can do with this case. It's a brought in dead, BID case. Because you can't...
But his reputation has been ruined, as you said.
You see? And that's what they wanted. And they're achieving what they wanted. They wanted to drag the bishop into the mud so that they make political mileage. And they use it as justification to call Vatican, can you please come and take this responsibility of yours, causing anarchies, involving himself. No. We should respect the bishop. Even I, when I get a chance to be leader in this country at the level of presidency for the republic, these are the ethos, these are the principles I'll live by. I'll respect the clergy. If I have an issue with them, I would call them respectfully. Ask things respectfully, not you disparage them. You start even castigating them. I'm so happy that he did not utter any statement, because what has happened now, according to the legal process that they have, as long as it's quiet, he has not connected himself to the car. It is their burden now to connect him, and they can't connect him to the car because the car is connected to the person on whose details those documents are found. Kuriba Bishop, there's no connection between that Hilux and the bishop. There's nothing.
It was in his possession. That's a connection.
No, that's why I gave you an example. If today, even the law does not say if I steal something or I get something, then I come and give you as a third party. You can't be arrested on my misdeeds. The law is not DAO. And the law is not DAO. It introspects, it asks. So how did you end up this? But when they take you in the court of public opinion like that, they drag you in and they are doing my shortcut here, and they are using newspapers and they are using, these trolls on social media to just malay you. It's very unfortunate.
Come August 2026, 13th.
Sure.
Are we going to see KASONDE MWENDA on the ballot?
If you saw him in 2021 when you hardly knew him, I mean, what would stop? Wherever we want to go, our feet will take us there. We have got the hope that refuses to die. And 2026 is our year. We are coming to ask for a vote from the Zambian people. We have run. People are saying, here we are. This is 2026.
Tell me, what, and this is very curious, and I ask on behalf of the Zambian people because I've heard them say this. What is your mobilization strategy? Some call you a Facebook president because you seem to only specialize in campaigning on Facebook. No one has ever seen you hold a rally, address a rally. And what gives you the comfort that you now have amassed the support? You are saying 2026 is yours. 2026 is yours. What gives you that assurance when you have never tested even just to call a rally, but you are ever live on Facebook? And I've heard so many people call you a Facebook president. I want you to speak to your strategy and debunk those kind of notions from those who are doubtful of your approach.
Thank you. I think when you are opening this program, you just said they have toured the whole country. If there's a politician who has toured the whole country, I don't think there's a match, not even a kind of HM. I just told you I'm coming from where? I'm coming from Porokoso. I was in Chinsali. Where have I not been? In Mwinilunga. Where have we not been? People don't even know where I live. If you ask people, where does KASONDE live? Some will tell you, of course, I'm a rally. I mean, does that kind of allow us rallies? No, it doesn't allow us rallies. Every time we've decided to have some rally, I've ended up on myself. So if we had a democracy, or even a semblance of a democracy, you would have seen rallies. But I'm a rally, you say, if we are put them Chimbokaira. So, I mean, we are also not suicidal that we have got families. We are coming from responsible places. We need to hustle. We need to live another day. So we are not here just to expire, to appease. But now I'm not crocodile now. So that you ngala suma. Hakainde has been biting us. Just on Bill 7, when we went to picket at National Assembly, even with a permit, we ended up spending 3 days per central padian. I think you are aware. So, that per Facebook, no. The truth of the matter is we have dominated social media. They should just give us respect because it's not a walk in the park. Take work cafe that have dominated. You need to work. And social media, unless you are just an entertainer, as we are politicians, you take your substance there. What we gather on the ground, if our feet takes us there. So we have been dominant on social media because we are on the ground. Dominant per social media ground if they manage. It won't work. It's not like our social media just want to hear stories. They want to hear substance.
How do you assess your readiness as EFF to participate in this particular election? Are you going it solo? Are you going to be part of an alliance? We have never known you to be in any form of alliance, except the other day we saw you flash pictures with Mlenga Kapwepwe and Makebi Zulu. Is that a loose alliance forming we should be aware of, or what's your makeup and composition of your stepping into 2026 elections?
I think, as you have rightly put it, even if we for Kupa, ufure first wemwine waibaka ushenga bwacha na radienshi tete we muntu lafirafe no kuisambika ulafirafe no kuyipikira you rush into a marriage eva laba samkama burden mu marriage because first you need to create yourself ability. So before we go to even talk about alliances, the question is, do we have political parties that are serious, that are working 24/7? If we tulabomba bakaramba, whether we are effective or whether what, that doesn't matter. Tulabomba chiperankula. Ni pam 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 pam. Just why tukira. But we work. And for us to operate with other people, they should be serious like we're serious we are. They should be serious. We don't work with jokers, with all due respect. abantu ebesa kuma politics kwat ma hobbies na bekala moya koni no tetwikala moya koni twikala pa ground to apa makasa ifwe panse paja apa de chula abantu that's why they could look if you're gonna come to me and say I want to be in an alliance, two cannot work together unless they agree. Asi we will not come into an alliance some kopama pictures at which there pizza vena Zambia. No, to our window we are serious. We want to liberate abantu barabali kana nsala bakambe kujya bwino and you won't do that in an aircon. Umuntu hapo na muchi namna pambemanto elefo kumi na president tadwi hapo na abantu hapo na muchi mbokaira tabamulonga hapo na masero.
Is that a qualification though?
I mean, if you are living under a kind of chilema and you are serious with your work and you want to speak for Zambians, that is your home. I'm telling you. There are no two ways about it. If you are ready to fight for this country, and Tawia Maseru, I'm not trying to exaggerate that. If Tawia Muna Maseru, you're a joke.
Tell me what's the life like behind bars? You've spent a few days there. Does it make you stronger? Or do you regret you said what you said that ended making you up end there? What experience can you share with the Zambian people a few times that you've been put behind bars?
Let me give an example. When, as a parent, you see a child in sapato ya ona ikain, then for mpe kwa taba na batali wasanga timufora same size, then wasabula lo sapato ulove wa mupela a ku school. You watch sapato, how do you feel? You will feel happy for the gesture because umu touch kwa ten sapato but wamu pela. Take over now you are happy. No, shikwe ten sapato wambo kushana na umfona tikwe. No. Ta umfuile wino. But you are happier because wapela ko mwen sapato. So what happens behind the bars is inconsequential. If people want to be spoken for, abantu bale former drivers ku DRC Congo. Uteko na wikana ndui bana mkucheme ngombe with all due respect. No nde panga makraz nde chita shani bale shana people are playing. Drivers are dying in the DRC Congo.
Are you sure there's not diplomatic engagement between the two?
Abantu bale for at diplomatic. What is so diplomatic about people dying? We need to see your look. You can't be abantu bale pia then you are saying no diplomatic. No. Now diplomatic is not that we are not connected.
What would you rather them do? Yeah. Because they can't also send people to retaliate. There must be a cordial way to engage with the other country where these atrocities are happening from.
Let them try to go and mishandle an American. They will learn about diplomacy. As a country, as a president, your duty number one is to protect your citizens. Ama citizens will be watcher at diplomacy. It should concern you. Kubula phone waimia. Boy, Tshisekedi boy. Look where what are we going to do?
So, President KASONDE MWENDA, what makes you sure that this particular administration of the UPND have not, the president in particular, has not spoken to his counterpart? What makes you so sure that that hasn't happened?
Of course, number one, we need to see results. So if London things happen, it's for Badechita. Because what we want are results. Number two, we went to the embassy. We have been to the embassy. I don't think any minister for Hakainde has gone to the embassy. We went to the DRC embassy and demonstrated there. Sent a signal. We went there. If we went there, they would have told us, no, your minister was here. We are handling this matter. There was no such communication. So, no, we are working behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, people are dying behind the scenes. We should have seen some adjustments. For instance, if the government need to intensify protection of Zambians, if they want to protect Zambians, let them introduce even a dry port at Kasumbalesa. Pasakanyapa, let them do the dry port and allow that for our people, let them end here and let those companies, the transporters, create other companies also in DRC Congo and let the Congolese be ferrying commodity from the dry port further deeper into Congo. Up right now, our drivers can't stop because now our families no, people are risking it. They are going there because of insala bale pitamo. Ubuteko promised my drivers ngatwaisa no tukamisunga wino kabana ma pension. Our drivers now the way they live, they are not pensionable. Baba tamfi afenchito nali umfanya kundola kuda kwa abombera kuna kumasa marians bafola ama 25 of course when bala kana no average ni 4 pin yo bafola bengira say average across per month but kuna ama 2 pin na ba ama change. So what can you make out of that money? What insurance? Just last month we lost a comrade Chivanga. Bali de Mukongo, it took 2 weeks. It's a bad story. How drivers so what I'm saying is these are not even debatable saying we are being diplomatic. No. You should enforce a law to make sure that we know. Most of the people that have got even shares in my companies are transport. They are ministers. I mean, one, they're taking good care of their people. Those are Zambians. Over 150,000 trucks are on the road every day. Right now, as I'm talking to you, there is a traffic jam between Kasumbalesa and Musenga. That's 53 kilometers. Because we are even failing to clear. There's confusion. People are afraid of entering there. Our government, not even a single statement, public statement to the drivers. Takuli, zero. It's quiet at diplomacy. That's not just being serious. Let there be a by-election. They will announce it instantly. There's going to be a by-election. Even the money will be allocated. Election will happen. There will be no diplomacy there. Even my sister in Chawama, even if she's mourning, there will be no diplomacy. There they will go and have a by-election. It doesn't matter. But when people are dying in the DRC Congo, the drivers at diplomacy, who can be serious?
One of the concerns that we are hearing, from those that want to participate in this particular election, like yourself, is whether or not there will be credibility of the election, whether or not it will be free and fair. And in that respect, what strategies are you employing to ensure voter protection and engaging the Electoral Commission of Zambia to ensure that, as per constitutional mandate, they deliver a credible and acceptable, fair general election that you will be happy with, that your supporters will be happy with? What are you doing to ensure that the election will be free and fair?
No, that's a big one you have asked, and it's not everything we are doing perfect, and some things we are also concerned, and we are also worried, and would want even the public to come forth and help us, especially when it comes to holding the ECZ accountable. We have seen they have been rogue. Already we don't even know what will happen because they have now passed a law, that will allow them to have delimitations. We don't even know where those constituencies are going to come from. We don't even know how many exactly they will be. We have heard that now they are planning on extending the parliament building so that the new ones can be accommodated. And yet, up to now, we don't even know really. So, the report that will allow for delimitation is still not yet out. It's still a secret, just known by the UPND and known by Akainde and his team and his cabinet.
Your feet have never taken you there to discover where this report is?
Yeah, we did it. I wish I could, but we are looking. Once we find it, it will be all over. We'll find it one day.
What are some of the biggest logistical or institutional challenges you foresee, to characterize potentially, this upcoming election?
Yes, of course. The rate at which we are moving, and there is no money in the country, especially for the ordinary people. Good people who would want to stand right now are struggling financially. Yeah, because you are struggling. So again, I see a problem where people who are credible, people who would want to save this country, they are failing to campaign even already because just today, is it today? Yesterday, he met his people, he gathered it all. That's not a privilege for him alone. It's supposed to be for all of us. But we have a situation where they have come with an iron fist, and I'm praying Zambians can see through. And when it comes to voting, they'll be magnanimous. It's a tough terrain, you know. Sometimes I know Zambians sometimes bara to tana castigate former opposition. No, you are not doing hard. Yes, we understand, but we work under very difficult circumstances.
You talked about scarcity of money to perhaps aid your campaigns as opposition. I was speaking to someone earlier today, and they said, look, at the moment, no funder is willing to put in money into the opposition until they see some level of organization, because while it is that they like you as EFF president, they know that perhaps you cannot win it alone. You need to come together. And so, is that a possibility? Earlier you said you don't want to work with people who are just in aircon
yes.
Offices. What are you doing to help amalgamate the effort and bring yourselves together? Because money is there, but the funders are waiting for you to look like, oh yeah, now they've come together, they are organized. There will be a formidable challenge, not individuals, but as a collective. There will be a formidable challenge to the incumbents. What are you assuring the Zambian people? I will rephrase this and ask yet again.
Yes,
are we likely to see you in an alliance?
It's a desire of everybody. No one wants to carry the full load on their own. You know, it's much tougher when you are alone. Would want, but it doesn't mean some people are ex baggage, and not everybody, because body more position in Ishbadi serious. Some of them not long ago they were stealing from people, they were harassing. With all due respect, it's not everybody you can work with just because we I think managed to lose a direction. We are becoming now gluttons at pokefia maka. There are people who even know at abanga to apoka na wamaka who will not work because bapoop. You know what I mean? Let me give an example. Can I go into an alliance with UPND? I can't. These people have got no plan. They've got no vision. They give everything to IMF and foreign. So it's not everybody you can go into an alliance. Two cannot work together.
No, we're talking about the opposition.
So you talked about funders putting. No, with all due respect, it's not true, according to us, that funders are not ready to put money. No, I don't think every time I move around, I use my money. No, there are people who put in money. So it's not true that Tivanda bona panopenati KASONDE wachanda titapa wika mwenda na so if when shift wika money finish. It's not true. People do put money. Even now, people are putting in money. For us to grow, in fact, you all the fund that first mukabepa munka istaba serious. Because how do you expect abantu, even if at Zambia baka win a face wapange team? No. You invest in individual players. You make them strong so that when they come together, they make a team. At first, muke sepamo basunge MPH. With all due respect, basunge MPH. If you are serious about your country, you need to see. I see potential in KBN. I'm going to invest in KBN TV. Balandira kwa abantu. No first once mwema TV muke sepamo. Ala. We can't come. Some are pro UPND. Some are pro people. Twalipsana already. Two, some, you know, with all due respect, abantu vera shupa no kushupa sana, vera shupa sana. Bali shupa fintu apsana pa menso limone mitimo fo shaba. It doesn't mean umuntu ngani mu opposition is obvious and then umutima wa wama. No, I'm not saying umutima wa ndino usuma sana. But I mean, I'm not here to sacrifice myself. But abantu abakobati now shono kuishibati abale don't mean well just because ngamabomba na bolo bakamipere MP abasunge MP with all due respect. We want to work with people, but people that we share the vision. If we are relatively young. And let's say we are going to live for quite a while. God willing, but we are relatively young. Meaning, we have a vision for a kind of Zambia. We're not doing this at no. No. We have a vision. And we are going into power for a vision. You ask me whether I'm in alliance or I'm now not sure, but because people want so much alliances. No, we're not in alliance with anyone. We are in alliance with the people of Zambia. Yes, we would want an alliance with people that are serious, who are honest. Not people who come to you, ask for an alliance. No, can you sacrifice your party? What are you going to sacrifice? No. We will work with people that are serious. Some of us, being in politics is serious business. That's why when you invite me to come here, you knew I was going to come. I wasn't going to give stories because to me coming here is an opportunity. But you bear me witness. Bambi abantu kwisa kuno, kuba papata. Am I lying? Just maybe answer me. Am I lying? Bambi abantu bali bafe fie. Even when they're giving you an opportunity, they want you to make sure like they're the ones doing you a favor. No. Icon. Some of us are representing the youth. People that are frustrated. So they should not think we come to the table, we want to agree to allow bombashani. Then but if no, no. Before you take a path with EFF, you need to tell us what exactly do you want, what do you bring on the table. Are you able to fight with us? Are you able to come and give the minerals that we are fighting for to Zambians?
Have you been approached to surrender your party? You've just made a passing comment around that.
I'm glad you know it's a passing comment. But there is no politician, with all due respect, that we have not sat with in this country. Among those, there is no one we haven't sat with. We have sat with all of them. And not for 5 minutes, for 3, 4, 5 hours we have sat. And not once, several times. And we respect some of them. Already,
some of them.
If but when you are in it, you realize that abantu but I can listen. Take over fight, but somebody more position wants to happen. No. I don't believe that stuff. We can all be in opposition, but in more position, they should not be given power, with all due respect. I gave an example. Even if we were together in opposition with UPND, I can give an example. In 2021, some people called us. We used to have meetings with some of the people that you have had in here. They took us, no, can you be in the UPND Alliance? We had the meetings in one of the prominent lawyers' offices. No, can you? We said, no, working with UPND. No, we don't believe in what they believe in. We refused. So it's not like people will just come to you, you just say yes. No. And let's talk about the vision.
I mean, let's give it to you. You have tried as much as possible to be issue-based. In your campaigns and in your approach, your advocacy, you always raise issues of a road, of queues of truck drivers, of Zambians being killed. You always point the powers that be to issues. I must commend you for that. And in saying so, you raised an issue about the happy dance of the Honorable Madam
sister.
Speaker. Well, you really still feel she didn't have to celebrate? You took it quite heavily to heart.
Wow, sometimes before to have by character, to have passionate. So it's not always that when you speak about some things, you have to shine. No, if you have energy for your energy, so but it sometimes it's not really that it was part of a madam. No, so ngabaru we will not go in a way quite joking. With us, those matters are serious. Some of us grew in that reign. When we could not know even when a speaker was smiling or not smiling. Because those people were protecting the decorum of the house. They didn't want to show partiality. Mwakwata fenomba fe speaker. Eule fikula na amasha at Bill 7 yapita amini kudia kwenda kudia ni lack of discipline on a personal level. And even if I met her past street, but mami, with all due respect, you misconducted yourself. That was very indisciplined of you. Next time, try to at least observe decorum. Ilenchito is a higher calling. Just like even when you're a president, like what happened to the president yesterday. Waya kuchoma, then start saying, hey, bade mi, gamwaku intercity, mkafika chape pa intercity, benzo kamba, zimenye ni riva kuchoma. No. When you're a president and you reach a certain level, there is a certain behavior expected of you. Baya kuchoma, those are your children. Those are your children. You don't go in the house and say, Iwe last born, Iwe, or Iwe. Treat them as one. Is he going to give that same message when he goes to Mpika? As I was saying, because those people in Mpika, does he even know what used to happen to them when they reach Lusaka? Does he even know? If we were staying in Lusaka, even went to Unza, he should maybe tell us that every time he was at Unza, they used to beat him. Because in Lusaka, there are so many people from southern province, maybe than even any other place. But I mean, intercity once about to be up. I remember when I was dating my wife to upper intercity to Africa, Vamatu of Makopal. But if kumpoka kachora kaja, because you know what I mean. But I didn't take it that because of my tribe. Did those people even know my tribe? And the two, some of us have lived in Southern Province a lot. Takwaba basi ati ifune kuchoma. Takwaba. Buses that come from Southern Province pass through all the places. They can even pass through Mazabuka. People from Mazabuka jumping. Kwa basi ati bus ifune kuchoma, ifune choma beka beka. And besides, in Southern Province, there are many tribes. So, but him trying to sensationalize it, trying to turn Abantu, for instance, Abatonga, trying to make them look like they are the target of ridicule, people hate them. He's weaponizing tribe. He's trying to plant in them a fear that other people don't love you. It's not true. My own elder brother, Benjamin Mwenda, Apo Paka Blonga, Apa just a stone throw. He's married a Tonga. Me, my aunt is Lozi. It's not like Ngatuakumana, but him, he's trying to capitalize. Many people come from Choma. They come to Lusaka. Nobody used to beat them.
The president has been very categorical about issues of tribalism. After that statement he has made, I've heard most commentators say it's actually somewhat fueling tribalism. Do you hold the same view?
That's what I'm actually saying. I'm saying by him using tribe to segregate people, divide them. When you're at that level of president, your job is to unite people. Bandage, okay, yes, granted some people were being mistreated. But how long? How long, okay? How long is he supposed to be opening those wounds? How long? So that what? You don't think about Southern Province, Southern Province at the meeting plan. Why? So that what?
Mandela and apartheid.
So Mandela every time he stands up, he would remind people, no, Mandela became a big person. Told people what happened. Hakainde is a very ungrateful person. People voted for him. Why does he keep crying again that people hate him? Why? He thinks it's only his tribesmates or those who voted for him. No. Even some of our friends voted for him. Even people who are not his tribes. But him, he wants to weaponize them. He wants to put... those people are suffering. He has failed to give them CDF. Now he's trying to distract them. Instead of him holding himself accountable, has he fulfilled his promise? No, he's now trying to create fear. Fear-mongering. Telling them, if you remove me, kuzabwera winango. Uyo winango akabwera mzamenyewa. That's what he's using. He's playing, and I'm begging you, all my lovely, beautiful people of Southern Province, don't fall for that trick. That man who's telling you, bekara moya koni, but they chicken and chips kunukusaka, kuja chicken and chips kunukusaka. Siwaba menya. But wafu no mi ofiani, uko ku Southern Province and mkabwera kusaka wazani menya, kukara president winango. There have been presidents like Kaunda, where people being beaten here in Lusaka. There were people like Mwanawasa, where people in Southern Province being beaten.
I mean, how does this make you feel as a politician when you talk about other people who voted for President Hakainde Hichilema? We saw in the 2021 election, he penetrated Northern Province, he penetrated Copper Belt, he penetrated Luapula, he penetrated Eastern Province. These were predominantly regarded as opposition strongholds.
Yes.
They never used to vote for him until 2021.
Yes.
How does this make you feel? You are trying to campaign and penetrate Southern Province, for instance.
Yes.
And your competitor is saying you can't give your vote to anyone else. 100% vote must
come to me. Because
how do you respond?
From here.
How do you respond to that? It's a political strategy for him.
Yes.
What is your political strategy to counter, such a very emotive, strategy that is already campaigning?
To be very honest, it's very tough. There are people who are shameless, and my elder brother is one of them. When he wants something, he will get it. He doesn't care hook or crook. He doesn't care. And I think by now, all Zambians know. If Hakainde means he will plant seeds of dissension, of hate, he will divide you, provided he wins, he will do just that. He will do that. He will shamelessly do that. I would just advise him that I, for an eye, left the whole village blind. it's not like other people are not capable of alienating other tribes against, but that's what led to genocide in Rwanda and other places. People, him, if he doesn't care about Zambia, some of us we care. And we do not want to rift them, push them to a level where they start hating each other, killing one another. Him, he's power hungry. He doesn't care. He will push them. We remember Mapatiza formula. We haven't forgotten.
I'm just wondering, if you said what the president said, wouldn't
zealous.
you have been arrested or cited for tribalism?
Of course, I'm glad Zambians know. But I love Zambians for one thing. Even other people, it's not like Southerners, they will just, maybe, okay, of course he's scaring them, and they have got the right to be afraid because probably they trust him, and I understand. I really do understand and I sympathize, but I keep praying that may God give them a heart that is bigger, to know that they are being used. He is using them, and very ungratefully using them, because he is using them to dispose them off. And I'm sorry. Of course, probably gives them a sense of, I don't know. That's how tribalism is. There's always some people that benefit. But personally, I will not go that path. I would rather lose an election.
What's your message? I mean, as politicians, you cannot continue to divide the country. One way or the other, if you are saying 2026 is yours as EFF, you have to have a unifying message. What is your message to the Zambian people? Because Zambia is today very fractured, and it's because of politicians.
Yes.
And I don't think anyone is happy to continue on this trajectory. What is your unifying message as EFF?
Yes, it's tough. But I think the most thing that is consistent is like when there's so much sin in the world, I think the best way you can overcome sin is by you yourself avoiding sin. Number one, it starts there. So I will not campaign on political grounds. The same way we have managed to penetrate social media. Right now, with all due respect, we thank Zambians. We are not for playing. There we are not for playing. That's our terrain. That's our turf. And we are happy to be called the Facebook president. I'm not ashamed. You come there, we'll bury you. Happily. People have tried to spin it, they insult us, they would come with us, we don't even block at the comment section, we'll leave it open. They will come and insult, and then we are just going relentlessly. So we are not ashamed, but you will never hear me in my life utter a tribal sentiment, divide people. I'm a Christian, and I want to practice my faith honestly, because I totally believe in Christ raised that we may be something good. He did not die in vain. So I don't believe that's a joke. To me, that's serious. So I'm a Christian before I'm a politician.
To unseat a government that has got the power of incumbents and resources at their disposal, and control of key institutions, the police and so on and so forth, it's an uphill battle. Are you ready? What are you doing to make sure that it has to take only the message to convince the Zambian people, not control of anything else other than just having a sellable message? What is your message to the Zambian people?
I'm asking Zambians. I'm a human being. I have my limitations. I've got my gifts. I may have passion. I may not have other things. So we are coming to Zambians just as we are. I don't think even Vakainde, for them to vote for him, we had so much resources. No. Nakuchurungoma tabafikako. Nakurunzuwa tabafikako Vakainde. There are places he never went to, but people still voted. They gave him a chance. So I'm appealing to Zambians. We may not have a lot of things they are looking for, but we are here to save them. And we will save them earnestly, passionately, like they have never seen before. We will make sure all Zambians smile and love one another. That is our message.
Right.
We will do within our means, but we will not auction the country. And I should thank God so much for social media. I can do a rally on social media and I will have more than 500,000 people listen into a a rally on the ground, if I have 2,000 people, I'm lucky. So I'm sure our message is going everywhere, that we are coming to maximize our potential, empower our people. Zambia's first. We will not auction our country to IMF. We'll make sure Zambians benefit from natural. I can give an example. Kushuangandu for emile mushimena feshine fema pine trees. Last time I went there was in 2019. Apart the pines that I found in 2019, I went there last year 2025. Nasanga nashikula. Pines growing within just 4 years. That's a miracle. But that is a natural potential that Shuangandu has. Those are the things we want to take closer to Zambians. How many people are growing pine trees? They are mostly foreigners. Avena Zambia, just a handful. Those are things we should open up to let people. We should give people funding. CDF, we should make them available for people to do real projects, not peramacadas like what is happening right now. So, as economic freedom fighters, we are coming to build on some gains, but some of the things that are wasteful, we'll definitely get rid of them. But above it all, we are coming to give Zambians real hope. We are coming to give them priority. We are coming to unite them. And we are coming to let them live a life meaningfully.
Right. Let me take you back to the Copper Belt. There was the leach telling dam that collapsed, and Sinom Metals, a consultant was appointed, and they've now issued a report about the real impact of that pollution. I'm not sure if you have had sight of that.
Definitely.
What are your reactions to that report on the pollution that resulted out of the spillage?
Our people are vulnerable. They are looking for who to speak for them and to act on their problems. What is happening over that spillage speaks to a government that does not prioritize the well-being of Zambians. They speak good language, but when you go on the ground and people are discarded like they don't mean much. That report should have worried us. Some of us, those people should have even gone there, instituted tests, Pama plants, we see how do we commemorate the losses that we have seen. But this can only be done by government, because our government is to look after the people. And it's an indictment under the UPND government, because that report is for them to act on. And as EFF, we can assure Mwena Kopala, Wonsavena Chambishi, everybody. When we come in, we are coming to revisit this. First nga bamona problem ili kuli kuma politicians babo abena mwali teta but they even compensate them pantu wali wasontere mfuti. But people who were actually abantu balefu nokufa, amaliva ale onaika, those are not even compensated. Today I received a very sad information. You remember ulomwa icheba alashire mfuti kuchira bombwe problem lakwa lyubunga. You remember that boy? You remember that boy that died? I was talking to the parents. That boy, they have not compensated. Not compensated. And they don't even pay attention to them.
That was a ZNS incident.
ZNS incident. Yeah, that was not being compensated. So when you have a government, here loses empathy. So if they can't even compensate to Muntu over ZNS, do they even care about Umuntu Odi polluted? They would rather defend the Chinese companies, because whenever they appear as sidekicks, they are able to make money. They are doing businesses with multinationals. They want to have the numbers to flash and win an election that, no, Zambia is back, whatever they are trying to do. But they are failing to let the lives of those who are suffering be improved. I think when our time comes, abantu bakaimwena difference. I can assure them. Bakesa amuna difference. Oh, so actually we can even have leadership that genuinely cares. This is my prayer, and that's why I keep knocking, despite the odds that I'm praying for a time when Zambians will come and say, oh, okay, so it's actually possible to really have a government.
So you reckon the government hasn't responded well to this particular crisis of the environmental degradation and pollution in that area?
I think to even say they haven't responded well is an overstatement. They haven't responded. They have just ignored it like it doesn't matter. That's That's smokes and screen. That's just window dressing. They don't really care. There's been no. Some of us, maybe and even to social media, we are in tune with people. I can show you mandate. I can show you more than 50 videos of how people's fields have been bent. They can't grow anything. And I'm kuchingola. Yoko fia piafie. Ifintu fia abantu. The footage we have. Your heart can be broken. Not now, but some of us, what we know and what we sit on, if we release that information to this country, people can be heartbroken. So to say they have not responded well, no, they have not responded. Ma jokes fake eka. People's livelihoods have been disturbed. People are sick. Do you know that in this country, even our cancer disease hospital, radiator. I one time went to some place and one of the persons who was attending to me, maybe I was rude, but after we interacted, cancer. Next time when you come here, you won't find me, Mr. Mwenda. What do you mean? I've got cancer. Last time we reached stage 4, somebody wants to help me to go to India to go and do radiation because UTH Cancer Disease Hospital, Tapavana radiator. With all this period by UPND have been in power, saying kwenyu, they have even failed to buy a single radiator. Muno Mzambia nga walwala cancer, taukwete omuntu wa sponsor kukuya ku hospital ku India.
Is that a correct position?
You die of cancer stage 1.
Is that a correct position? There is absolutely no intervention from the government on the cancer hospital?
That's why if mwefintu, if yakwati muntu na talire, olumwamu kumushinga salad pakanwa, and you call that an intervention. There's even some help that you should do. It's serious. Help imo mass setting. What they have been doing at the cancer disease hospital is an atrocity. What
have they been doing?
They have been joking with a very serious problem. Zambia used to be a refuge. Malawi, Zimbabwe, they used to come here for help to the cancer disease hospital. What happens there? That's a death chamber. And it hurts me. I didn't want to go this way. But I'm in contact with what is happening there. Bakalamba, there are no interventions. What they are doing there, because they know they can't go to that hospital. They will fly away. They will fly kuma India. They will fly kuma China. They will fly kuma America. But you and me, God forbid that we should have cancer because we are dead. So what is happening there? There is no intervention. People are dying there.
You're saying Zambia used to be a refuge,
yes,
as far as the health
yes,
is concerned.
Cancer specifically.
Cancer specifically. But only a few days ago we got reports that we were giving support and help to Botswana, medicine-wise. They bought some, we donated some. So perhaps we haven't departed from being that haven you were talking about.
Awe aimushuwa na mkwata kumnakwata kwa walwele kwa hospital kuya. Abena Zambia wala kwata fuma, it's not for me to say. Abena Zambia benebeka, they should be able to tell whether what is happening kuma UTH is a haven. Fuma kwa wano kutalika. Ngandeta, what should I tell Zambia? Kwa hospital nile wanja koneka. Nabena balaya. So if that hospital is a haven, it should be for them to speak, not for me. Me, I just project what people tell me, what I see for myself, and what I believe in. If they think it's a haven now, our cancer hospital, who am I? I can only wish them kwenyu. Not long ago, we had a report that we are building a hospital in Central Africa Republic, and Bakawana came and showed the clip. No, this is the machinery. You know that hospital is a scam, it doesn't exist. That $25 million has disappeared in thin air. Yes, there's no hospital in Sierra.
You are supposed to be providing checks and balances.
That's what I'm doing
what
right
is
now.
The government saying about that?
Wow, what can they say? Apart from arrogant, they won't even say anything. Do they care? They control everything. So only what can help us is natwa voter. Mukabamona na wakashana perete. Ibalesha nishawa nabo. They will dance.
You earlier talked about, we have come to the issue of cancer because of the environmental pollution.
Yes.
And it has landed us here. In that context then, do you think there are enough safeguards and oversight around mining in Zambia currently? It looks like if you can have pollution of that magnitude. Where else is this happening? Because you have God popping up everywhere. But what are the environmental safeguards and environmental regulatory oversights being provided? ZEMA on site and all of this. God is being dug, but if these things are not happening, what would you do as EFF coming into power to address some of these things?
Let me tell you the biggest problem. You know, I asked somebody, I asked a driver the other night, I told him to Minazuro too. So I asked him, why is it that the UPND, they promised a lot of good things. They said they would improve the conditions of the truck drivers, they would introduce the conditions of Ukumaini. What is really the problem? Because Shirefwana Nenga are taking over this country. We come and face some but actually problems yengi ba president. And when you border, you find that our borders on the Congolese side they are more organized. Kuno ku Zambia, ama Congolese wengi fe, nothing really happened. Quite confusion. Then I told them, but why? He said, no, the problem is simple, Mr. Mwenda. Wakainde used to go to New. We were arranging mwana wa mfumu. Wale some mwana batata bafukama ka control fintu apa bali feno kuwelamo. So probably when he was promising, he meant it. But why is he failing? I would want even by UPND Ukumfwa, what I would say. Why is Akainde failing? It is simple. When you run a company, the success of a company depends on the people you employ. If criteria of your employment is my cousin, fiance, you want to give people that you are connected to either regionally, family-wise, family tree, you fail. The reason why Akainde has failed to deliver is the selection of people to work with. He uses a criteria that is all lopsided, that is so misplaced. He's fighting too many battles. As far as he's concerned, he's even a tribal messiah. I mean, you don't experiment on life. Yes, there are some things which are not right that you need to correct, but you don't need to create another problem. Go around any ministries in this country, my brother, all directors, not entirely all, but most directors, we know what I'm talking about. They are tribal, inclinated in a certain way, or region. These are something that all Zambians can agree with me. That's not how you solve a problem. You don't solve a problem by creating another problem. Yes, there could have been another party, probably that also was lopsided, appointed people from a state region. Now you will serve 70 times 2. That's why it's failing. Because those people who are supposed to take now stock, do the right thing, could have had problem na but pollution. Ulo masanga ti boss wa kuzema mupongo shwaba Akainde. I mean, what can you tell him? What can you tell him? So now what is happening is that you find that a PS...
Of course you are speaking hypothetically, I believe.
Yes, I'm speaking hypothetically. So what I'm saying is that you find that a person is just a director, but is more powerful than a PS. I can give an example, a very honest example. And that is Ngamamona, there is some relative to, if it's not the president, then the vice or son, just let me be hypothetical, although I know the details. About cadastre. A director, apparently cadastre is stronger than the PS. So even when a directive is correct, you will see that a junior will refuse the directive of his boss because the boss, the junior, is connected to the power that be. So why UPND is failing is because they have gone into this thing not to save with meritocracy, using the correct power of people. When I'm president, I'll be able to appoint very sharp people, regardless of where they're coming from. But if you're appointing criteria, even when he went, my brother, I follow him very closely, when he went to discuss with Teritunga, he put an entourage, the final entourage that he sent to negotiate with Teritunga after they had the split. He couldn't even trust anybody else. He had to trust his tribal. And then those people, they didn't tell him why they couldn't proceed. I'm giving him confidential information. They said, but what is this? So what I'm saying is that for you, if every problem you have in the country, you think you have to solve it by sending your tribesmate. Everything where there's a problem, you think the way to correct it is to send your tribesmate. The country will crash. There is talent among the Lenje. There is talent among the Bemba, the Chewa, the Lungu, the Tokale. There is among the Tumbuka. There is talent everywhere. But you find a talent,
I mean, I shudder to think that, I mean, hearing you say this, you are probably speaking to a real challenge.
Yes.
But society will say, President KASONDE MWENDA, you are promoting tribalism on television. How do you argue your case? Because you want to sensitize the Zambian people that this is a wrong. But in you talking about it, you'll be cited as the one. What must we do to address and confront this anomaly and make sure that our children's children do not fall into the trap of what this monster might turn out to be? Talking about it is very uncomfortable. Even me to ask you this is very uncomfortable. But I see you are struggling to talk about it. And because someone will cite you that you are propagating division and tribalism. How best must we address this? And I ask not only you, and it's a question to the Zambian people to reflect. How must we address this and know that we are, as a country, collectively must rise to ensure that we go back to being a nation that love one another?
Yes, what you're saying is true. It's a tough place to be. But Twalipusana Maros, for some of us, we are in the right place to speak, condemn, enlighten. There are those who are holding power. I'm not holding power right now. Their job is to implement. So, my job is to condemn it. And if I don't condemn it, I'm failing on my duties. It's not the job of Wakainde to entirely just condemn. He needs to practice it. That's the difference between me and him. I'll single out and speak of him because he has a duty to show him deliver, do it. Me, I need a platform which I exhibit and also show that I'm not showing partiality and I'm not putting. But for me to speak, I don't think people even think I'm tribal. They are just being unfair to me. For you to ask me those questions, I don't think they should judge you to be tribal. You're just doing your job. But if here at KBN you just employ people who come from KBN family and ancestors, then you are failing in your duty. If in EFF I only give portfolios to those that come from KASONDE MWENDA and the clan, then I'm failing. So we all have a duty. Like every other topic, there's nothing special about tribalism. We should talk about it. Of course, with respect, with restraint. We don't have to use it as a weapon to infuriate one another. But it should not be a sacred place where we are afraid to go. It's a place where we say, number your appointment, your portion. We have seen in companies where people are appointed and people question and say, vacancy, all of a sudden you see somebody will be employed. Not people that are within. And that person you even know, this one will be promoted. And they used to complain. And they were genuinely correct to complain because those problems were real. They would say, it's a mazina mazina. That's what's happening right now. Mazina, some certain names, you will not go up. And should I pass Mumbari? Not me, I don't care. We need to call it a spade a spade. This is happening and it's disgusting, for lack of better terms. And we don't have to even shy about it. We should call it what it is. There's a lot of tribalism under this government, and I'm not ashamed to call it off. Actually, I should commend Laura Meat. Laura Meat wrote an article, and that woman is brave. She's my colleague, I think. She wrote a very strong article. I was reading, and he said, you know what? Those people should be given CDF, not evil women that or something like that. And she's part of government, and she's speaking like that. That's how we should reach that level. We are able to call out things for what they are. Me, I'm not shy of condemning the tribalism that happened in PF. I think you know that. I simply call it off that. There was, and I do agree, it used to be there. So if I called tribalism in PF, why should somebody call me tribal when I see it in Akainde? I'll call it for what it is. And that's what I'm doing. If I defended it, then I should keep quiet. But I never defended it. I called it out. So I will call it out even now. And I'm not ashamed.
Let's wrap up by talking about the high cost of living that most people have been lamenting about. It is nearly 5 years. The UPND promised to reduce the cost of living, the cost of living, the meal, and all of these things. Where do you think they went wrong? And in your view, as you aspire to lead this nation, what would be your focus to bring these things into control?
Yeah, I think the UPND, they know what they need to do, but they lack the commitment to do what they need to do. They need to walk through it. Right now, Hakainde had a plan that he gave to Zambians. But when he went into power, he shelved his plan and adopted the IMF. Those are multinationals. That's an organization that has got its own interest to benefit the Western. So the first 5 years, this was not Hakainde Chilema's plan. It was an IMF program. We were under an IMF program. That's what we were in the previous 5 years. And it's coming to an end. Some of us were even celebrating, let me be very honest. When I heard that Zambia has discontinued the request for extension of the IMF, actually, Millennium Radio called me saying, Mr. Mwenda, what's your comment? Government has discontinued. Before I could respond, I said, let me read. I saw there was breaking news that actually they have not just discontinued, they have gone to ask for another one to run the full length. I mean, that's a joke. I mean, didn't we have enough load shedding? So now, if UPND wins 2026, we should see even worse. And that will be beyond that kind of thing. We'll just be watching. Whether you have floods, you will not be, because say IMF program. When they say remove taxes so that you spur an influx of investment, even if the revenue is externalized, leaving your people dry, do it. You simply obey because it's not your program. So what we will do different as economic freedom fighters, EFF, is one, we will not operate an IMF program. IMF prioritizes Western interests. Nganamana nomba kufikiri nomba West na issue perfect. Ile loba fe na ma president ndande muchibe mbata tachali na mara natubasa kuloba. Ngwa bamusendo omuntu aloba. Tata satwafu. What we are saying is that we will give an interest to the Zambian people. Copper belt alone, from copper alone, 2024, we made over 10 billion US dollars. From that 10 billion US dollars, we almost got literally nothing. But we went to borrow 1.5 billion from the IMF. So in PM Zambia, Shirefu Mashileya, I gave you an example that between Msenga to Kasumbalesa, that's 53 kilometers. Padiama track bumper to bumper. Those who are doubting can go on Facebook, KASONDE Mwenda Simara Asanga Ninja Kopa. Bumper to bumper. Those are carrying commodities, merchandise. I mean, you go, but I want to just living in squalor, in poverty. So, as economic freedom fighters, we come into power, we will prioritize the interests of Zambians. We are going to bring ownership of our natural resources. Apanali mwanawena kabuswe, kutuka abantu kulia. Na wapo kabantu, kasenseri God, no kubapela ma 20 pin. But kusafupendela pa what 4 million US dollars kwangala kulia. If you divide the number of people, how do you give somebody pension 20,000 kwacha? No kubale show kuimba no imakabiye na mfolamo to pay the rightful owner. The rightful owner for that God are the people there. Not Kabuswe's group of people that has come to get the money. Those are not the rightful owner. The rightful owner of our minerals. Right now, as I'm talking on emeralds, there is a waiver on mineral royalty tax. There is a waiver. We don't collect it. Why should we do not collect tax? Why should we give our minerals for free? As EFF, we are coming to make sure that this money remains. That's why we are not even careless into going with funny alliances, because some of the people don't share this passion. No, we want Zambians to give us a backing so that we can go and get them the money where it is. Some of the people are cowards. They are going into power to go and play as we want power to develop the livelihoods of our people. That's why we will not relent. We will fight. Call me at 02 to come for a program, I'll come. People call me in Solwezi, I'll go. Because we are serious and it's just a matter of time. Wherever I want to go, our feet will take us there.
Lastly, and this is a matter of coincidence.
Sure.
It is 7 months since the former president died in South Africa.
Oh, sure.
And it is another 7 months to the next election. Are we going to go into an election without barring ECL? What are your thoughts and what's your appeal?
If I had the way and if I was president, would have buried a long time. It's a government that sued the family. So this boy is in the government's hands. If they want to see the full swing stretch of the law, we are going to stay because there is nothing the family can even do at this stage. It's a government to withdraw the charge and let them bury. Kwamana. There's even nothing which is difficult. I think people have shown their muscle, their character. I mean, you can't be let the man rest. I can find a monopoly when I start preside. I think those reasons, I think at this stage where we have reached, it's supposed to be water under the bridge.